Welcome to worship with the Unitarian Universalist community of Charlotte. I'm Eve Stevens, my pronouns are she, her, and I am joining you this morning from my neighbor's yard. And you'll see featured behind me throughout today's service art done by my neighbor, Amy Hart. I'm grateful to her for use of this space. Evolutionary biologist Lynn Margulis spent her career studying the interdependence of the natural world. Margulis carefully traced the lines of our connectedness, highlighting the awe-inspiring intricacy of the web of life. Margulis writes, "The past is all around us. Darwin's biggest contribution was to show us that all individual organisms are connected through time. It doesn't matter," she says, "whether you compare kangaroos, bacteria, humans, or salamanders. We all have incredible chemical similarities." She continues, "Organisms are not only connected through time, but also through space. The carbon dioxide we exhale as a waste product becomes the life-giving force for a plant. In turn, the oxygen waste product of a plant gives us life. This exchange of breath is what the word spirit means," Margulis says. Spirituality is essentially the act of breathing. She concludes, "This interdependence is an inexorable fact of life." In preparation for Earth Day later this week, this morning we celebrate our intricate connectedness with the earth and with one another. Welcome members and welcome guests. Head over to our public Facebook page where you can greet one another in the comments section underneath this morning's welcome post.
As we light this chalice, we uplift our Unitarian Universalist principles and Native American wisdom.
Let us respect the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are a part, while ensuring justice, equity, and compassion in human relations.
Let us pledge to treat the earth well, look and listen for the welfare of the whole people, and have always in view not only the present, but also the coming generations, even those whose faces are yet beneath the surface of the earth, the unborn of the future nation.
Good morning. I'm Margie Storch, and I've been a member of this congregation for 23 years. I extend a special welcome to visitors with us this morning. If you are new to our community, I encourage you to sign up for our weekly e-newsletter, Currents, and you can also head to the events calendar on our website to see what classes and social opportunities are available each week. If you are interested in becoming a member or just have questions about this community and would like to get to know us better, reach out to our membership coordinator, Kelly Green. You can reach her at kelly@uuccharlotte.org. Thank you for tuning in to our service this morning.
We hope you'll join us again next week.
This reading is by Omid Safi, a scholar of Islamic studies. And this is from his essay, Seeking Community Here and Now. Safi writes, "Community does not descend from heaven. We have to shape it right here on earth. We all crave belonging and a sense of community. We are not meant to be alone. We deserve both solitude and connection. These are not opposites as much as they are rhythms of the soul." Safi continues, "These days I find myself thinking a lot about community, what it means, what it does to our hearts, and what happens to us when we live without it. I look around me and wonder how community is shaped and missed. Here is the mystery about community, about a sense of fellowship. Community is about much more than one person entering a space and then another person entering the space and so on. Community is not merely a gathering of individuals coming together. Community is an almost alchemical reaction that happens among all that we are capable of being and becoming. The Islamic calendar does not begin with the birth of Muhammad. It does not begin on the day that Muhammad first began to receive the revelations from Allah that became the Quran. The Islamic calendar begins on the day that Muhammad and his followers, fleeing persecution in Mecca, established the Ummah, the community, in the city Medina. In Muhammad's lifetime, people were joined together simply by virtue of belonging to the same ethnic tribe. The community Muhammad founded in Medina brought together people from different tribes, tribes who had been previously fighting with one another. Muhammad presented a new understanding of community in Medina. Community would no longer be limited to those with blood ties or a shared ethnicity. Community now meant that those who shared a commitment with one another belonged together. A commitment to live in the compassionate and just way Allah commanded. The first public words Muhammad spoke to this community of the faithful were, "O people, give unto one another greetings of peace. Feed food unto the hungry, honor the ties of kinship. Pray in the hours when others sleep. Thus shall you enter paradise in peace." Muhammad's new life in Medina is one of the ancient stories that reminds us of what is possible between human beings. Community. Weaving together the threads of our individual lives through a commitment to something larger than ourselves. The acts of giving and receiving one another's respect and care, serving as the under-over rhythm, stitching our lives together into one tapestry. This is a poem by Lucille Clifton entitled "The Earth is a Living Thing." The earth is a living thing, is a black shambling bear ruffling its wild back and tossing mountains into the sea, is a black hawk circling the burying ground, circling the bones picked clean and discarded, is a fish, black blind in the belly of water, is a diamond blind in the black belly of coal, is a black and living thing, is a favorite child of the universe. Feel her rolling her hand in its kinky hair. Feel her brushing it clean. At the 2006 Technology, Education, and Design, or TED, conference, Al Gore presented his documentary, An Inconvenient Truth. Another speaker at the event, Majora Carter, a young Black woman activist from the South Bronx, approached Gore in the hallway between programs. She asked him how grassroots groups like her own Sustainable South Bronx factored into his vision of environmental work. Gore told Carter she should apply for a grant. Majora Carter later used her time on the TED stage to challenge Al Gore, saying that she had not been approaching him for money. She was offering him collaboration. Later, Carter said of An Inconvenient Truth, "It's a fantastic film, but you know, there is still this disconnect between what's considered official environmentalism and what actually happens to real-life people on the ground." Carter grew up in the South Bronx near a neighborhood nicknamed Asthma Alley. The main features of her neighborhood were and are power plants, waste transfer stations, sewage works, the Wall Street Journal's printing presses, and endless cars and diesel trucks streaming by on each of the 4 major highways that cut through the South Bronx. It's no wonder residents suffer from asthma at 5 times the national rate. The grocery delivery company Fresh Direct houses its trucks in the neighborhood where Carter grew up. Hundreds of trucks release their heavy exhaust daily, bringing fresh produce to the more affluent people living in Manhattan and Brooklyn. Growing up, Carter had seen on maps that her family lived on a peninsula. But in all her time living there, she'd never once seen the water. There were over 9 miles of public state-owned waterfront, and yet there were no public access points to the river. Everything had been blocked off for heavy industry. Carter began working with her neighbors to create a grassroots organization called Sustainable South Bronx. Together, they sourced enough funding to build a riverfront park for the community. They trained once unemployed South Bronx residents to work in ecological restoration jobs. As Carter describes, these jobs helped them start to understand their relationship to their own environment. She continues, as they walk out their door, they recognize that they are part of it all. Sustainable South Bronx created green spaces with lush vegetation and irrigation systems on top of roofs throughout the Bronx. Rather than magnifying the heat of the sun, these roofs absorb it. Rather than creating stormwater runoff to be processed by wastewater treatment plants, the roofs created by Sustainable South Bronx retain stormwater. Carter describes her delight watching new wildlife she'd never seen before in the South Bronx congregating on these rooftops. How suddenly she began to see her neighbors communing with butterflies. Carter says, "What we're trying to do is help folks understand that regardless of how poor you are, regardless of what color you are, you have an inherent beauty. And you should be able to look outside of yourself and see beauty too. Majora Carter marveled at the traditions and methods she learned in her study and in working with the community. And she writes, "There are West African traditions and religions that actually speak to your role as an active part of your environment. Everything around you," she says, whether it's the iron that you use to make a tool, whether it's the tree that you carve a drum out of, you are intimately associated with it. It's a part of you as you helped craft it, as you use it. The poet Carolyn Dunn is of Cherokee, Muskogee Creek, Seminole, Cajun, French Creole, and Tunica Biloxi descent. This poem is from her collection, Coyote Speaks, Wonders of the Native American World. And the poem's called Creation Song. From her breath, she formed the web of the world, spinning delicate pieces of silk, sinew, bone, and blood. We are things of spirit, of earth, of starlight, of a spider's web, caught in the brightness of the sun. Life was formed from the meeting of earth and sky, soil and sun. From the earth, she was formed. 8 legs, the ability to float from her body. Grandmother spider, creator of the world, spun all of this from a single spinneret, a single dream, a prayer upon the waking breath of the rising sun. Light, air, water, earth, brought forth all from the dream of a silk thread and the daytime star. We cannot separate our commitments to the earth from our commitments to one another. How we relate to the earth affects how we human beings relate to one another. Carolyn Dunn describes the silk thread connecting all of existence. The act of creation she describes is not performed through explosion or a flash of light, but in the form of weaving a web of life. This vast tapestry gifted to the plants, animals, minerals, humans of this planet. The work of environmental transformation calls us to face the holes in this tapestry, the tears here and there where we have pulled unnaturally away from our relationship with the earth. Tears where we have pulled unnaturally away from our relationship with one another. Holes here and there where we have denied and ignored our connectedness, distancing ourselves, straining the fiber of our relatedness to the limit. Omid Safi writes, "It is a sense of community that is a commitment to making goodness and beauty become real. Community does not descend down from heaven. We have to shape it right here on earth. In our weaving of a larger, more layered understanding of community, we will mend the tears."
Woke up this morning, suddenly realized that we're all in this together. Started smiling, 'cause you were smiling, and we're all in this together. I'm made of atoms, you're made of atoms, and we're all in this together. And long division just doesn't matter, 'cause we're all in this together. I saw you walking in the city, we're all in this together. City's changing and we are changing, we are all in this together. Every 12 seconds someone remembers that we're all in this together. In the kitchen of your rent-controlled apartment, we are all in this together. Come on, baby, I don't mean to rush you, just wanted to reach out and touch you. I got to start to open my heart. I know you think about jumping ship before it sinks, but we're all in this together. Ask a scientist, it's quantum physics, we are all in this together. And on the subway, we feel like strangers, but we're all in this together. Yeah, I love you and you love her and she loves him, but we are all in this together. You know, baby, there's never been protection in all the history of human connection. Come on, darling, it's alright to show me you don't ever need to be lonely once you start to open in your heart. I saw you crying, I started crying, 'cause we're all in this together. And then religion is a big decision, but we're all in this together. Yeah, we're all in this together. We are 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 all in this together.
Hi, my name is Tom Moore. I'm a Unitarian Universalist humanist and native Charlottean for 67 years. Right now I'm on a deer path behind our home in the Stonehaven neighborhood. One of my favorite places as a kid was this large tree with a low-lying branch that hung over Briar Creek. It was peaceful reading on the tree and listening to the water, wind, and wildlife. I felt connected to something larger than myself. Later, hiking and rock climbing increased my love of Earth's beauty and healing qualities. I studied science and biology in college and respect the use of reason and science as we seek to solve some of the problems and mysteries of the universe. In 1980, I enjoyed watching Carl Sagan's TV series, Cosmos. Carl Sagan had wise advice still pertinent today. He said, "Unless we destroy ourselves utterly, the future belongs to those societies that encourage diversity rather than conformity, to those societies willing to invest resources in a variety of social, political, economic, and cultural experiments, to those societies prepared to sacrifice short-term advantage for long-term benefit, and to those societies that treat new ideas as delicate, fragile, and immensely valuable pathways to the future." I participated in a 9-month environmental justice core group offered by a Unitarian Universalist community to expand my awareness of the evolving environmental movement. It has become increasingly clear that in order to save the Earth, we must also save each other. Technological advances cannot rescue us from global warming without respect and love. Our thoughts and actions, even our breath, are intertwined. We need to ensure all parts of our human community not only survive but thrive. We must purge ourselves and our institutions of racism and all forms of discrimination in order to heal ourselves and the planet. I'll end with this question from the late William Commanda, an Algonquin elder, spiritual leader, and promoter of environmental stewardship. Traditional people of Indian nations have interpreted the two roads that face the light-skinned race as the road to technology and the road to spirituality. We feel that the road to technology has led modern society to a damaged and seared earth. Could it be that the road to technology represents a rush of destruction, and that the road to spirituality represents the slower path that the traditional native people have traveled and are now seeking again? The earth is not scorched on this trail. The grass is still growing there.
We take time now to extend the love we weave together in this spiritual community beyond us and within us. We hold in our prayers the people of St. Vincent, as so many there are without drinking water and electricity, watching the unfolding volcanic eruption that's threatening their homes, destroying their livelihoods. We hold the family and friends of Dante right in our prayers as they mourn his death, and send love to those on the streets of Minnesota and beyond, demanding that institutions charged with protecting our communities be held accountable. Here, closer to home, we are sending love to the family, friends, and community of the 2 trans women of color who were killed in our city in recent days. We hold trans people in our congregation and larger community in prayer and ask that you reach out to Jay or me when you are in need of support in the coming days. Within our congregation, we are also sending love to Mary Connell in her time of concern for the health of multiple family members. We hold in our prayers Brenda and Lloyd Dillon, as Lloyd recovers from surgery and as Brenda is now under the care of hospice. We hold in our hearts Sheila Gallagher, her son Colin, and their family, and join them in mourning the death of Sheila's mother. We are sending love to the family and friends of Terry Granzi and join them in mourning her death. We hold in our prayers the family and friends of our member, Morty Rubel, and join them in mourning his death. As more students return to in-person learning, we hold also in our prayers our members who work in school settings. As you continue to adjust to the ongoing changes in your workplace, we remain aware of the toll the past year has taken on you and send our admiration and gratitude for your ongoing commitment to our children and youth.
Good morning to each of you. I'm John Burns, a member of this community and also co-chair of our stewardship team. During this past year, I suspect that many of you, like me, have had time to reflect on the priorities in your life and what things you truly value versus those things that were a regular part of your life, but perhaps only out of convenience. I find that I truly relish family meal times and the chance to prepare food for those I love and enjoy it together. I deeply value creativity, which for me involves designing and playing strategy games and escape rooms. It starts with casting about for interesting and unusual stories, locations, and ideas, and weaving them into a narrative that others will appreciate. I continually return to playing music, whether that's Christmas carols with neighbors, recording a piece to use in the Sunday service, or just playing through books and duets with my son. The thread that unites my priorities is the connection with others and the chance to appreciate and be appreciated, to listen and learn, to share a laugh or a smile, or collectively revel in something well done. Without those connections, my world would be sadly diminished. UUCC is one of the cornerstones of my connections. Many of the people I value most are my fellow members, and I have many ways to interact with them. I happened to visit the building last week to do a recording and was awash in memories of all the meaningful interactions I've had there and expect to have in the future. That experience and my reflection on priorities gives me renewed faith in my pledge of 5% of my income to UUCC, in recognition of the important place it holds in my life, and also in the hopes that others will find a thriving and vibrant community there. COVID has asked all of us to look beneath the surface for true substance, and I hope you agree that our faith community runs strong and deep, and holds a significant place in our priorities. When asked, please give generously to support all that we are and hope to become. Thank you.
Wherever you are, as you participate in this service this morning, as a way of preparing for a shared time of meditation, I invite you to close your eyes and take in the sounds of the outdoors that surround me now. Breathing deeply and trying to hear as many different things filling the space as you can. I join my wise chicken friend that you may be hearing more than the sound of birds and the stirring of the wind in the trees. I join him in offering you a meditation, the words by Joy Harjo. Remember the earth whose skin you are. Red earth, black earth, yellow earth, white earth, brown earth. We are earth. Remember the plants, trees, animal life, who all have their tribes, their families, their histories too. Talk to them. Listen to them. They are alive poems. Remember the wind. Remember her voice. She knows the origin of this universe. Remember, you are all people and all people are you. Remember, you are this universe and this universe is you. Remember, all is in motion, is growing, is you. Remember, language comes from this. Remember, the dance language is that life is. Remember, we are earth. May there be sunshine and fresh air in your future today. Amen.
Hi, this is Margie again. I support the Unitarian Universalist community of Charlotte so I can participate in life-changing programming, help pay our dedicated staff, maintain our building and grounds, and share wisdom, gratitude, celebration, and grief in a nurturing community. When we value the special experience, the opportunity to grow and transform ourselves and the world, we give generously of our time and treasure. Thank you for your continued support.
Thank you for all the ways you help sustain this loving community. Be well and reach out when you need us.